If you're thinking about moving to Delray Beach, there's a good chance you've already heard about Atlantic Avenue. It's the heart of downtown. It's where you have your restaurants, bars, art galleries. It's where all the nightlife happens. But what you may not be as familiar with are the neighborhoods just to the north of downtown, where the city completely changes. This is where you leave the restaurants and tourists behind, and you find yourself driving in quiet residential streets with mature trees, historic homes, parks, lakes, neighborhoods where people are out riding bikes, walking dogs, and taking their golf carts downtown for dinner. And if you're moving here from the Midwest, this may be the part of Delray that feels the most like home. So today, I'm going to take you through the area north of Atlantic Avenue and show you several of the neighborhoods you'll want to know about, including Pineapple Grove, Del Ida Park, Lake Ida, Palm Trail, and many of the surrounding residential areas. We'll talk about what the homes are like, what the neighborhoods feel like, and how close you are to downtown and the beach. My name is Ryan, and I work with people relocating to Southeast Florida, particularly those coming in from the Midwest. And before we get started in the neighborhoods, let me show you the specific area we're looking at today on a map. Atlantic Avenue runs through the middle of Delray, and on the east end of Atlantic Avenue is downtown at the intersections of Swinton and Federal Highway. For this video, we're going to stay north of Atlantic Avenue, with 95 being on the west side and the Intercoastal being on the east side. And between these 2 points are several established residential neighborhoods. Neighborhoods that you can get to downtown from within about 5 minutes and the beach from within about 10 minutes. And if you need to get anywhere else in South Florida, I-95 is just a few minutes away in the other direction. So geographically, you're sitting in a pretty ideal location. But as you watch this video, you'll notice something distinct. This area does not look like what most people think of when they think of Southeast Florida. It's not as busy as West Palm or many of the cities down in Broward County or Miami-Dade County. And the first neighborhood we're going to look at is the perfect example of this, Del Ida Park. This is one of Delray Beach's historic neighborhoods. As you drive through this neighborhood, you're going to notice the mature trees and houses that look different from each other. Something that's very different from much of Southeast Florida's master planned communities. If you spent time further west in Palm Beach County looking within the gated communities, you've probably seen a lot of neighborhoods where the homes were built roughly within the same time period. Del Ida Park is almost the opposite of that. It was developed over many decades, so you can see older Florida homes, cottages, alongside of ranch-style homes, some properties which have been extensively renovated, and newer construction. That gives the neighborhood a lot of personality. And this appeals to many Midwest buyers, especially if they're coming in from cities like Kansas City, Chicago, Columbus, Minneapolis, places where homes were not all built at the same time. In these cities, you have mature landscaping, older trees, and homes that were built during different periods. Del Ida has much the same character, except that you add in some palm trees and the fact that you're just a few minutes from downtown Delray. Another thing that adds appeal to this area is that the neighborhoods are not set up like a grid. Many of the cross streets run diagonal instead of straight across. This adds character to an area that already has plenty of it. So if you're looking for an open neighborhood that's not gated and has tons of character, Del Ida may be a good option for you. Next, let's move a little further west and north to Lake Ida. And if you're looking for more of the traditional single-family homes in a neighborhood that's close to downtown with a little larger lots, Lake Ida is the neighborhood you're going to hear recommended over and over again. This neighborhood is built around Lake Ida, and compared to downtown, things really start to spread out here. The lots tend to be a little larger, and you've got more yard. You also have quieter residential streets. And depending where you are in this neighborhood, you'll have everything from older ranch-style homes, some of which are completely renovated, all the way up to new construction. And this is where many buyers have to make a decision. One of the compromises people have to make when they move to Southeast Florida stems from the cost of land. Land here is expensive. Do you want a lot of land, or do you need to spend less and get a smaller lot? In the Lake Ida area, the costs of the homes reflect the size of lot you're getting. which is why many Midwest buyers like this area because the lots feel very familiar. Lake Ida is one of the places where you can still get more of the traditional neighborhood experience while remaining extremely close to downtown Delray. And then of course you have the lake itself. Some properties in this area are on the water or have access to Lake Ida. And that creates a completely different version of the South Florida lifestyle. Instead of only thinking about the ocean, you've also got boating, fishing, kayaking, paddleboarding, and other activities right here in the neighborhood. Along with the lake, you also have Lake Ida Park, which provides a large recreational area just on the west side of the lake. So Lake Ida makes sense for buyers coming into this area who want to live in Delray, be close to Atlantic Avenue, but don't necessarily want to live in a condo downtown. They want a driveway, maybe a yard with a pool, maybe they have a dog. They want space for family coming down here to escape the Midwest in the winter. Lake Ida gives you more of the traditional neighborhood lifestyle without putting you 30 to 40 minutes west of the coast. And that's a pretty compelling combination. One of the things you'll notice when you're driving around in these neighborhoods is the South Florida lifestyle, and it's on full display here. You'll see people out walking dogs, riding bikes, running, taking their golf carts places. People are always outside. And this is one of the biggest changes you'll see when you come in from places like the Midwest. This is a year-round outdoor lifestyle. Right now it's August here, so it's really hot. But even in the hot, rainy seasons, you'll still see people outside in the mornings and at nights. The outdoor lifestyle is integrated into everyday life here. And for the people living within these neighborhoods, because they're so close to downtown, they don't have to get into their cars every time they want to do something. You will see many people running errands on their bikes or on their golf carts. And that's a very different lifestyle from people who choose to live in the suburban areas 15 to 20 miles out west. Next, we're going to move closer to downtown to show you something entirely different: Pineapple Grove. If Lake Ida gives you more of the traditional residential neighborhood experience, Pineapple Grove gives you more of the urban, walkable Delray experience. Here, we're immediately north of Atlantic Avenue, and it's perfect for the person who doesn't want to live on the busy Atlantic Avenue, but wants to be very close to it. You've got restaurants, coffee shops, art galleries. There are both condos and townhomes available, and all of it is located just within a few blocks of the downtown area. This area is perfect for somebody looking to downsize into a walkable community, and for those looking to buy a second home when they don't plan to live here full time. This area gives you very different living options than Lake Ida, but you're essentially within the same part of Delray. And that's something hopefully you're picking up on as you watch this video. As you travel north into Delray, things change quickly. You go from condos and townhomes to homes with large lots and pools in the backyard, all located within minutes of each other and very close to downtown. And now we're going to head east towards Palm Trail. And this again is a neighborhood with an entirely different personality. Palm Trail sits much closer to the Intercoastal and has quickly become one of the most desirable residential areas near downtown Delray. Here you'll find older established homes sitting alongside of significantly newer construction. And because you're further east, you're not only close to downtown, you're also significantly closer to the beach. And because you're close to downtown, the Intercoastal, and the beach, the price definitely reflects that. This is an area where you're definitely going to see the phrase location, location, location driving prices, especially for the homes sitting right on the Intercoastal. This is another neighborhood filled with charming older homes, quiet streets, and mature landscaping. And it's a great option for people looking for a more elevated tropical lifestyle. So if you are somebody considering a home in this area, here are a few things to be aware of. First is flood zone. Between Federal Highway and the Intercoastal is almost guaranteed to be within a flood zone. But the flood zone risks vary widely throughout this region, so definitely check into the flood zone. There are also many homes within this area that belong to the historic registry, and for those homes, you need to be careful before you make exterior changes. And while we're on the topic of exterior regulations, most of this area lacks HOAs, and for some of you, that'll be a welcome sign. For many people though, they may get frustrated living next to a neighbor who doesn't take care of the home the way that they wish they had. So do your homework before buying a home here. So where is the right place for you to move? Well, if you're moving in from the Midwest and you're wanting a large yard and maybe a pool, I'd start with Lake Ida. If you're wanting more of a historic home that's walkable to downtown with great architecture around you, maybe look at Del Ida Park. If you want to be in a walkable neighborhood and you want to close your door and not think about it, maybe check out Pineapple Grove. And for those who don't mind paying more and they want to live on the Intercoastal in a quiet neighborhood, Palm Trail and the surrounding neighborhoods east of Federal Highway may be a good option for you. When most people visit Delray, they spend their time on Atlantic Avenue and at the beach, and they imagine that that's what life is like here. Each one of these neighborhoods that we talked about today gives you a very different lifestyle and a different experience of Southeast Florida. If you are somebody who's thinking about moving to South Florida and you want help navigating these differences, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is on the screen here and in the information below. And if you're interested in going deeper on the topic of insurance and how it impacts homeowners here in Southeast Florida, check out this video I made last week going more deeply into that topic.